Museum scrubs JK Rowling Harry Potter display transphobic views reducing impact. Chris Moore, exhibitions project manager at the Museum of Pop Culture, blasted Rowling as a cold, heartless, joy-sucking entity, she who must not be named. Harry Potter novelist JK Rowling is taking yet another hit from critics blasting her as transphobic, and, this time, all references to her or items regarding her have been scrubbed from a franchise display at Seattle's Museum of Pop Culture. In a lengthy blog post explaining the decision, Chris Moore, who serves as the exhibition's project manager at the museum and identifies as transgender, using he/they pronouns, blasted Rowling as a cold, heartless, joy-sucking entity, while further accusing the vocal feminist of touting transphobic viewpoints. There's a certain cold, heartless, joy-sucking entity in the world of Harry Potter and, this time, it is not actually a Dementor, he wrote. This certain person is a bit too vocal with her super hateful and divisive views to be ignored. Her transphobic viewpoints are front and center these days, but we can't forget all the other ways that she's problematic, the support of anti-Semitic creators, the racial stereotypes that she used while creating characters, the incredibly white wizarding world, the fat shaming, the lack of LGBTQIA representation, the super chill outlook on the bigotry and othering of those that don't fit into the standard wizarding world. And so much more, the piece continued. Rowling, who has been blasted for, in Moore's words, becoming the face of trans-exclusionary radical feminism, TRF, has come under fire in the past from those seeking to remove all traces of her from the Harry Potter franchise because of her controversial views defending biological sex and remaining suspect of the transgender community's attitudes toward biological women. In the past, she also expressed support for a British woman who sued her employers for firing her for believing that biological sex should determine a person's gender, Deadline reported. In consequence, Moore wrote that the museum decided to remove any of her artifacts from the museum gallery to reduce her impact. According to UK outlet Daily Mail, Harry Potter memorabilia will remain on display but will not contain references to the author of the wildly successful franchise. Despite the backlash, Rowling has also voiced support for members of the transgender community in the past, saying, "I feel 100% compassion for such people and I would absolutely respect their pronouns, always have, always will, and would want, as I say, to have comfortable, easy lives," during an installment of the Free Press podcast, The Witch Trials of JK Rowling, that aired in March. Video. This new movement, though, is pressing for something different, very different. This movement has argued, continues to argue, that a man may have had no surgery whatsoever, but if he feels himself to be a woman, the door of every woman's bathroom, changing room, should be open to him. And I say no. I'm afraid I say no, she added. Rowling was previously inducted into the museum's Science Fiction and Fantasy Hall of Fame and remains on its list of members posted online.